Hi, and welcome to Rec Chat, where students and professionals talk about all things in collegiate recreation. I am Max Miller, your host for today from Swarthmore College. Thank you for joining us today, either live or via our archived YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com and then search Rec Chat. Joining me behind the scenes are the Rec Chat team members of Rochelle Williams from Western Washington University, Earl Cabellin from the University of Maryland, and Zach Watson from the University of New Hampshire. We're excited to have three members from the Small Programs Advisory Council with us today. And for those of you following on Twitter, we'll be asking questions using the @RecChat handle regarding small programs, so feel free to participate and use the hashtag RecChat when answering your questions. Before introducing our panelists, wanted to share our gratitude with our friends at NERSA HQ for all of their support. We know they're always busy with looking at innovation and new things to assist us in the collegiate recreation realm. So if you haven't already, please follow them on Twitter at NERSA Live so we can show our support. So without further ado, I'll let our panelists start by introducing themselves. Please tell us your name, your position, where you're from, meaning your institution, and who is your favorite athlete and why?
All right. My name is Todd Bowyer. I'm the Director of Campus Recreation at Roanoke College. My favorite athlete is Antonio Brown, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. Not only is he a dynamic playmaker, but he is also just a lot of fun to watch. He has quite a personality, very enjoyable to watch play the game.
Hi, I'm Joe Hoff. I work for Texas A&M University at Galveston, and I'm the Director of Campus Rec here. And my favorite athlete is Aaron Rodgers, because I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and seems like a pretty good person overall as well. So.
Hey everyone, I'm Alicia Steginga, and I am at the University of Illinois Chicago. I am the aquatics coordinator. I don't necessarily have a favorite athlete, but I guess I would go with Michael Phelps just because I'm a swimmer, and that's where I lean.
All right, thank you all. So to start us off, could you tell us a little bit about the Small Programs Advisory Council for those who don't know as much as the three of you?
I can definitely help you guys out with that. So the Small Programs Advisory Council started with actually as a I believe it was a task force from NERSA. And has transitioned into the advisory council now. Basically what we do, we talk about different ways that we can help out small programs throughout all of NERSA, from different discounts on your annual memberships to discounts to attending conferences to just in general things like today with Rec Chat and how we can provide different services for people in small programs.
Great, thank you very much. So now we're going to move on to some good questions here. How do you handle the challenges of having a small professional staff at your institution?
There are definitely a lot of challenges with having a small professional staff, but some of the ways that we try to address that challenge is by assigning tasks to different staff members, putting them in a position to succeed based on their skills and experiences. Here at Roanoke College, we have one full-time staff member, which is me, and then I have 3 part-time positions that report to me. So under Campus Recreation, we have 9 different programs. So each one of those part-time positions supervises 3 programs that are somewhat related to kind of build on each other and just try to provide the most opportunity for success for each program by kind of running them in similar ways while also addressing the specific needs of each program.
Yeah, and I would say similar to that, but at Texas A&M Galveston, we've really relied on student employees over the years, just kind of like Todd said, putting them in a position to succeed and really kind of letting them take the reins when it comes to overall program management. And so a lot of times they're kind of the ones really leading the charge when it comes to running the actual day-to-day operations of the program, and I'm more so just kind of checking in, making sure things are running smoothly. And we've also had real good success with partnering with other departments on campus. So we work a lot with our kinesiology department to assist us in some of our programming and opportunities that we create for students.
Great, thank you guys. And that segues real nicely into our next question. So how do you utilize students to help lead and manage some of your larger programs, even though you may not have a professional staff person in charge of them?
Sure. So just kind of elaborate on what I was talking about before. In particular, I'd say the two main areas that we've done this is with our head lifeguard position. Currently, we actually have a few more professional staff that I've been able to add over the last several years. But when it was just kind of a one-person show like Todd's doing right now, my head guard basically ran the pool, and it was just a lot of training them up front, and then they would come to me with questions and troubleshoot from there. But they really were the ones that did the day-to-day, check the chemicals, they made the schedules, all that kind of stuff. We also in intramurals in particular as well. So I have about 3 different intramural supervisors typically, and they really did a lot of the day-to-day operations of running all the different sports for us, handling registrations, scheduling, training the officials in their area of expertise. And so that's kind of what we've done in the past and continue to do to put them in a good leadership position.
I'll kind of build from that, kind of talking about my experience here at a larger institution, larger program. I utilize my head guards in a lot of those ways as well. With about 300 people coming through our facility each week for swim lessons, it's a lot for one person to handle in the professional staff realm as well. So I definitely utilize head lifeguards, lead lifeguards for those kinds of things to just help me with running things. I've got some office assistants that handle the creating rosters and little things like that with the swim lessons. But I also would build from it and talk about in a small program, in a small area, you've got those students who you can see are leaders in your area and utilizing their strengths. A great example of this, somebody who's really good with time management would be a great person to look at maybe your facility schedule or your tournament schedule for, what your games are looking like for a tournament and intramurals and those kinds of things. And, if they're really good with time management on their own, they're probably going to do a really good job with building a schedule or building something for your program that has the ideal time set up for your program. So it's utilizing the strengths of the students that like I said, stand out as leaders or stand out with those strengths and how you can use them and utilize them for the needs of your program.
Great, yeah, definitely. I think when utilizing students, it's definitely important to play to their strengths because they're your eyes and ears when you're not on campus. Nothing I'm about to say is going to be groundbreaking, but provide them with the knowledge base to act as a power professional, know who to call if there's an issue, know what to troubleshoot, or how they can troubleshoot, and obviously prep them and let them know that you're always there to back them up if need be. So moving along, so Todd, can you tell us about how you collaborate with departments across campus, and also how as a small professional staff, you said you and 3 part-time individuals, talk about some of the many hats that you wear.
Yeah, sure. So first off, working in a small program, I'm sure many of you know that collaboration is super important to the success of your program, but also it can benefit the other department in which you're collaborating. Some of the ways that we've done that to this point is we collaborate with our Health and Human Performance academic department. They're doing a lot of fitness type of classes also, so we're able to do common trainings, and we've had our instructors actually come in and teach, say, Zumba for a Fitness for Life class, in which the professor was unavailable to even go to the class that day. Maybe they had an appointment or something. So our students were able to go teach that academic class for that one day and kind of introduce the students that attend that academic class to our programs. We've seen students that were in that class start coming to our group fitness classes as a result. We also collaborate with athletics in regards to shared facility spaces and just kind of one of the things I really wanted to mention with athletics collaboration is our club sports program. We have a pretty regular communication with athletics in which if someone gets cut from our varsity soccer team, for instance, we immediately are made aware of that so we can reach out to that student to see if they want to play club soccer. And that does a couple of things. One, that adds numbers to our club sport, but then it also hopefully is going to keep that student here at the college and assist with our retention of students. So those are two important ways that we collaborate with other departments. As far as wearing many hats, that just comes with the territory at a small program. So my 3 part-time guys, one of them is supervising our fitness programs, which includes group fitness, personal training, and the fitness center. Sports includes intramurals, club sports, and the game room, so that falls under one of the others. And then lastly, we have our aquatics, outdoor adventures, and actually recycling for the campus falls under campus recreation. Interesting combination there, but just wearing many hats and trying to address the needs of the programs accordingly. One of the other areas that I work in here at Roanoke College is I'm what is called the faculty staff member in residence. So I would live in a residence hall on campus doing hall programming for one of our theme houses, which is themed towards sports and recreation. So I do hall programming and mentoring for students that live in that house, and then also encourage them to get involved in some of the campus recreation programs that we're offering throughout the year.
Yeah, and I can talk a little bit about coming from a bigger school. Can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. So at a bigger school, I am in charge of the pool. I'm the aquatics coordinator, and here we're trying to really bring in groups of students that wouldn't necessarily come into the pool, which, to be honest, is pretty much anybody that doesn't have a swimming background. So we're really trying hard to reach out and build relationships with the Queer Resource Center, the Women's Resource Center, Disability Center, our Veterans Resource Center, and put a face to the name. People see aquatics and they see, oh, that's really scary, and or they see the rec center actually, and they're like, oh, the rec center is scary. That's where all the bros go. And it's like, no, like there are a lot of us here that are very nice people, and we intentionally hire people that are approachable and that are nice. And so I've actually had a couple of those meetings in the last week or so where I've gone to these different resource centers to start these conversations. And basically from my end, I'm able to give them a program. Like, we can do a 2-hour open rec program specifically for your group. You just need to pick a date and provide people. So that's how we're really trying here at Western Washington to get people, is basically doing all of the work for them and then just giving them the opportunity.
I'll build off that since I'm also an aquatics person. But here at UIC, we collaborate with lots of departments across campus, just depending on what's going on. So one of our biggest collaborations that we do, particularly what we just did last week, Friday, we had a big collaboration with athletics, our student center for student involvement, and a few other departments on campus. We threw a big tailgate for right before the basketball game, which is a little weird because who tailgates basketball games, but we did it, and it was a really awesome thing. Our outdoor adventure program had fire pits, and we handed out s'mores fixins so that we could do s'mores as part of the tailgate. Some other collaborations we've done are just with our wellness program, with our sustainability department, just different things like that where you can talk to different people on campus about what they have to offer and how it could connect with your department. You would be surprised the different ways that you can collaborate and the different things that come up just in trying to get the same message across with one event that both departments can be a part of.
Yeah, as I alluded to earlier, we actually share a building with our kinesiology academic program, and so a lot of time they actually do all of the Group X or fitness classes on our campus, and so that's been really helpful for us because that's an area that we haven't really had to take on and worry about managing. That they've done that, and so that's been a great collaboration for us because we still get the students still have those programs and those activities to be able to participate in. One of the other big collaborations that we did not too long ago was forming a wellness committee, and that now consists of anywhere people from our financial office to residence life, our student activities, counseling, disability services. So we really tried to pull a lot of different people because we noticed that everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and we weren't really getting a collective message. And so I tried to get everybody together and say, like, why don't we do this as a team? And then that way we can kind of have more of a joint branded message in order to push things out as the student wellness committee instead of just kind of haphazardly. And so I think we've seen a lot better results as forming that. And then, just as far as like wearing small hats, I mean, there are many hats at a small program, maybe tiny hats too. But I serve as a student advisor for our Yell Leaders, which if you're not familiar with that, we have those same as College Station, which is our main campus. And they're basically just kind of five guys that serve as our spirit leaders, so to speak. And so I serve as their advisor. And then we, as far as the department goes, we collaborate a lot with our student activities department to help them with a lot of their large events like Family Weekend or Welcome Week, that kind of stuff.
Great. Thank you all for your awesome ideas, information about collaboration, and talking about how many hats you wear. Zach, we're going to go to you to check in on how the conversation is going on Twitter.
Conversation is going great, Max. I will tell you, it's going fantastic. Shout out to a couple people that are being very active right now. Julie from Western Illinois has been chiming in. Thank you, Julie. Her favorite athlete is Carrie Walsh Jennings, the famous Olympic sand volleyballer. So fantastic choice there. Also a shout out to Mark from Mount Royal. He has also been chiming in. His favorite athlete is Kyle Lowry. He's a big Toronto Raptors fan, so We the North is representing. And he actually has a question for you all. That question is, how do you keep students on campus if you are a commuter campus, especially when you have limited facility space? So, Alicia, do you want to take that one?
Sure. We're mostly a commuter campus, whether they're commuting from suburbs, from nearby, or just simply they don't live in the dorms. It's mostly commuters. And one thing that we've been able to do with this is just posting events right at that time that they're getting out of class. So don't just think about waiting until your regular intramural time is, or after the late nights and those kinds of things. We start our programming between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right when those students are getting out of class. And then what we look at is, what do they want? Not necessarily, like I said, looking at the programming side of things as far as like getting them to stick around for intramurals or a specific program, but more along the lines of what specific event could we give them, a one-time thing, maybe one thing we do in January is our Rec Live event, where we basically take our entire department and make it come alive in our department. It's all done on the first floor of our building. All our sport clubs have a table, and so they get to kind of recruit there. We have some vendors, local companies, local restaurants, Jimmy John's, those kinds of things. They come in and sometimes they give out free stuff, which is, helps draw the students in. But we're looking at what do the students want to see, what do they want, and kind of go from there so that we can just kind of bring those students to our building first and foremost. And once they get here, then we can get them into our other programs. Like I said, Rec Live is a huge recruitment opportunity for our sport clubs. And then once they come to that one-day event, they start talking to some people from sport clubs. Those clubs are going to start getting them to come back into our facility and our program areas later on at different times and those things. So it all starts with that initial one-day thing for us.
Definitely. I think getting them in the building, that's step one, especially if they are just coming to the parking lot, going to class, going back home. You want to just get them seeing intramural sports, seeing club sports, show them a flyer for group exercise. Maybe they could hop in a class before they head home for the day. So just, yeah, getting them in the building or getting them in front of your programming is very important. So back to Alicia, what are some ways in which you can run cost-effective programming to mitigate cost on and a budget hit?
You know, being at an Illinois university, we just had a huge state budget crisis, and we had like no budget. Literally, the state didn't pass a budget for like a year and a half. It was rough. And so definitely something that we've been looking at in our department is the best way to make those things work. Things that we found are make programs out of nothing. A great idea, something that was really popular here, I ran cardboard boat races. I collaborated with the sustainability department to get recycled cardboard from across campus. We brought it here. We bought scissors and we bought duct tape. That was all we bought for this event. And these students loved it. We talked to our design students, our engineering students, and they were the ones that came out and really participated. So it's looking at what you can do with nothing, or almost nothing. I mean, I still have the scissors from the event last year, so we're going to keep them and we're going to use them again. You know, those kinds of things, and how you can work from little to nothing. Other things are, you know, how can you create a program out of something you already have? For example, can you do, if you have, in my facility, I have inner tubes for my pool. I know when I was at Valparaiso University, we had inner tubes at that pool as well. And so the inner tubes were just kind of for a leisure thing, just people hanging out, what have you. But we were able to use them for inner tube water basketball, and inner tube water polo, and different ideas along those lines. Use what you already have to make something new. I think at Valpo they ended up later on using the inner tubes for like a sledding contest or something outside. They literally like took them into the snow and went to, I don't know. It was really cool, but like use what you already have to create something different. And like I talked about, it doesn't need to be inner tubes in the pool. You can take inner tubes outside, or it doesn't need to be a soccer ball on the grass. You can use a soccer ball for something inside, you know, and those kinds of things, looking at, like, so what you already have to create something new.
That's a great point, Alicia. One of the examples that I have using something that we already have is with indoor soccer, for instance. We play that on a basketball court, and we have 2 indoor soccer goals. So we already have the facility and the goals. So all we had to do to add a brand new intramural sport to our calendar was go out and buy team handballs. So now we're able to offer Olympic team handball as a counterpart, basically using the goals in the facility space that we already have. Some other ways that we try to mitigate the budget impact through cost of running programs is it is actually beneficial at times to share facilities. For example, funding for new projects and renovations are often more successful. Donors are more likely to put up money when it has a broader impact on the campus itself. That's what we have found. We're currently planning for a renovation of a group fitness space with also a small weight training area that would benefit athletics, our health and human performance academic department, and campus rec. So that's a very attractive project for our donors. Some other ways that you can mitigate costs, you could look at collaborating with your academic departments and offering internships that provides academic credit, also specific experience related to the degree. Maybe they're a sport management major or exercise science. And then also that comes with no added cost to your payroll budget. And then also without nickel and diming our students, we do try to raise revenue to some degree. Just special programs like intramurals here are free, but if you want to play a club sport, there are member dues because there's special things that come with that, like travel and hotel accommodations. So just basically trying to show them that you're getting something extra than what you would get if you're playing a sport on campus. By playing a club sport, you're getting more than what the average student is getting. But yeah, it's very important to try to reduce costs, especially like here at Roanoke Colleges. Our budget is very dependent on enrollment and the student activity fees that our students pay. So these strategies have proved to be helpful.
Yeah, and I mean, I would echo a lot of that. But in particular for us, we use a lot of our student organizations to help out with a lot of things. And sometimes they have different resources, or they just have new creative ideas of ways we can run things. And so I would say that's kind of the main way that we kind of cut down on our costs, is either working with the student organizations, because sometimes they have access to different funding through like the student activities office to put on major events and things. And so they might be willing to bring in certain activities or events that we, like bubble soccer is something that we've had, like our campus activities board type group, they've helped sponsor that for us. And then we just kind of help, advertise it and get the word out and everything on our end. So that's one way that we've done some cost effective programming.
Awesome. Something that we did here at Swarthmore last year. So a lot like a goal of a lot of programmers on campus is to do alternative programming to provide opportunities for those who are not interested in maybe the party scene on a Thursday night or something like that. So I was able to partner with a student organization that dealt with drug and alcohol programming, along with a Zumba student organization, to do a glow-in-the-dark Zumba night on a Thursday night. The drug and alcohol student group was able to cover the cost of T-shirts for the first 25 people who showed up. The Zumba instructor volunteered his services. He's a student Zumba instructor. It was great. Volunteered his services for the event, and then just had to work with dining services to just get some snacks. And they were able to donate those, which was great, to the cause for that awesome program. So I echo what Joe was saying about collaborating with student groups on campus. Now, thinking about what's beyond our roads, beyond our walls of our campus, what are some off-campus resources that might be available to assist your program? Maybe it's neighboring larger universities, the municipality, local parks and rec departments, area businesses. Yeah.
All right. Well, local businesses, you could seek out for sponsorships, for T-shirts, and then just for funding for the program. We have the ability to run advertisements, brief pop-up ads on our cardio equipment that our businesses in the area can sponsor. And you have to address that pop-up before you can clear that part of the screen and go back to watching whatever TV channel you were watching on your treadmill. So that's one way that businesses can help us and provide some funding for our program while also getting something in return. We're actually located not too far from Virginia Tech, and that has proved to be very beneficial for our program. In particular, they often host group fitness instructor trainings, whether it's Les Mills programs or Zumba or what have you. We're able to send our group fitness instructors 30 minutes away, and they're able to become certified in different types of group fitness classes. And another thing to point out is our local officials associations that referee high school basketball games, soccer games, and such. They're often looking for officials themselves. So we're able to offer that opportunity to our student employees. And if they're interested in that, they can make some extra money and continue to get extra experience while also receiving extra training through the officials association that in turn benefits our intramural program in that case. And just one more example, when it comes to club sports, we just recently hosted the conference tournament here on our campus, and our local adult men's team for rugby was very instrumental in administering that tournament. They volunteered their time to just assist with scorekeeping and just different things that were needed. So just reaching out to different constituents within the community can benefit you greatly.
I'm going to go ahead and continue that part. Some things, that we have here at UIC, people around our area might not have that we can help them with. That's one reason why I'm so passionate about small programs, is having come from a small program to a large program, I see that need and I see ways that we can help. Specifically in aquatics, I am both a lifeguard instructor trainer and water safety instructor trainer. So I can offer instructor certification classes to the schools around and give them, we give them discounts, like they just pay the Red Cross fee to be able to get that certification and take that class. Different municipalities. When I was at Valparaiso University, we worked really closely with the Valpo Parks and Rec department. We worked closely with Deep River Water Park, which was nearby. They did not only water stuff, but in the winter they also had an ice skating rink. And then there were some other places around as well that we could work with just to kind of help promote our activities. One thing that at Valpo we did, we took our staff right before school started to a nearby Low Ropes course for team building and staff training. It was one of those things where Valpo didn't have the staff to do team building and staff training in that sense. And so we went out to the local Low Ropes course and did those things. And then also area businesses, especially here where we are at UIC, we are downtown Chicago in the Loop. There are buildings and people and businesses like stone's throw from here that would love to get more students into their into their buildings, into their businesses, and so they want to come sponsor all our events. So anytime we run a larger event, we offer the opportunity for local businesses to have a table. They can give out coupons, they can give out, like samples, they can give out just information about their business, and a lot of times it will help with bringing people in. One of the biggest ones that we've seen that has a really good reward or return on investment, if you will, is buy one, get one free coupons for like the local coffee shops and the local sandwich shops and things like that. They come in, they set up a table, they hand out these coupons, and the students go there, and then they get the business from just sitting here for 2 hours during one of our events.
Yeah, so our student organizations or club sports tend to benefit a lot from some of our collaborations or with off-campus resources. And so one of those is our men's and women's volleyball clubs. They both have access to a local church, which happens to have a gymnasium in their part of their facility. And so I'm not even exactly sure how it started, but at some point, I guess one of the students may have been going there. It's had some sort of connection, and now it's just become this thing where they at least like 2 nights out of the week, the church will open up and stay open late and allow them to have access to that. Which for a facility like us, where we have one gymnasium, that's awesome because having one of something means that, once one group takes it, it's gone for everybody. And so that's a big struggle for us as far as scheduling and just trying to balance competing interests. And so that's a great resource for our volleyball teams. We also, not too long ago, last couple of years ago, a family on the island down here in Galveston built a state-of-the-art sailing facility for the community. And so our sailing team has access to that, and that includes not only like various boats, some of which are not, like they have a lot of one type of boat, but the team does, and then the actual sailing facility has a different type of boat that they don't necessarily get access to as often, and so now they're able to practice on that other type of boat, and they host a lot of the regattas and stuff that we do host are now hosted out of that facility just because it's a lot nicer than the one that we've been able to build for them. I mean, they're just great for practice, but when it comes to hosting, that's a great opportunity for them. And then we also have a local running store that has been a great partner for us, and they've helped us put on and actually have pretty much run a lot of the 5Ks that we've done here on campus, and then they offer like discounts or some sort of a giveaway. And so that's been a really great partnership because they'll staff the water stations and even kind of do some timing and stuff. And once they got into that, and so that's been awesome. From looking at like larger institutions, we are I guess for lack of it, like kind of a satellite of our main campus in College Station. So the A&M system is a pretty large group, but we're not a system school. We're just kind of relocated on the coast for all of our ocean-based majors. And so they are a tremendous resource for us up there, especially when it comes to things like risk management issues that we may encounter. Sometimes things that we've been encountering, like for the first time, we can call up there, and at a school of 60,000, we're like, it's probably not the first time that they've had to deal with something like this, and we can get some really good answers from them, and it's very beneficial because we know that our system risk management people or our president, everything is going to be the same. So the answers that they give us, we can really take to the bank and know that we're on solid footing with that.
Nice. Thanks, Joe. Sometimes you just don't even ask how that partnership with volleyball and the church started. As long as it's beneficial, you just want to let it ride out. Zach, do we have anybody else that chiming in on Twitter or anybody else with some good insights?
We had Kerry. And he was talking about in response to the commuter campus question. He mentioned that they do a lot of things like in their cafeteria, and they will just show up and do a few events, even just card games, whatever, just to get the word out about what they do. Because a lot of people, if they are commuters and they do go home, they might not even know what Campus Rec does and what kind of programs it offers. So showing up to a place where everybody needs to go anyway, everyone's got to show up, everyone's got to eat at some point during the day. Would be a good opportunity to spread the word.
Boy, don't I know that everybody's got to eat. I love the cafeteria.
Kerry's from Drew University. I'm giving Drew University a shout out as well.
Oh, great. Thanks, Kerry. Thanks, Drew University. Todd, anything that the Small Programs Advisory Council wants to share for the greater good?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working on a couple initiatives specifically related to the annual conference. So I just wanted to make a quick announcement that registration is now open for the annual conference in Denver. It's March 4th through 7th. If you're from a small program and you haven't attended the annual conference in the last couple of years, you may be eligible for a 35% discount on the registration. So that can help out a lot, especially as it pertains to budget impact. So check your eligibility for that, but it's just in the last couple of years. If you haven't attended, you may be eligible. So in addition to the traditional educational and networking opportunities, we're also excited about the pre-conference workshop that we're planning that's specific with small programs in mind. So we hope you can get to Denver early enough to attend the pre-con so you can come and interact with other professionals and maybe even students that are working at small institutions, and just learn about how you can better serve your population, and just learn a lot about just interacting with colleagues just at the pre-conference program for small colleges.
Great, thank you very much, and definitely thank you all for coming on and hanging out with us today. We also want to thank NERSA for your support of RecChat, for your support of small programs, and thank our RecChat team for assisting today. That's all we have. Feel free to continue the conversation on Twitter. Check us out on YouTube. You can view any of our different Google Hangout sessions. So just closing up the show here. Thanks again for everybody who was on, everybody who was participating, everybody who will continue to participate on Twitter. Until next time, have a great rest of your week. A great Thanksgiving holiday, and see you again soon. Be well, and peace, love, and NERSA.
All right. Thanks, Max.